Okay, Tuesday night, we're here. And now we just get to wait and see how 25, 35, 45, a minute 15, we'll see how long it takes for YouTube to allow us to speak the truth. Tickety tock, still waiting. "35 seconds. Come on, YouTube. Let's go sometime today, before the world goes completely communist. Oh, there we go. 45 seconds. Okay, so they're making the delay longer and longer. We are here. All right. Happy Tuesday. Let's see. We got Tal Moore, Tabby Cat, Prep Rebel, Chenny, Adam Hoffman, Fastball, Ed, Gina, Beautiful Day. Okay, bunch of you guys going there. Okay. Fat Man, you're really wrong. I wouldn't piss on Kamala Harris. Okay. I mean, if she was on fire, I'd try to put it out with gasoline. So that would be my suggestion. But happy Tuesday. So if you guys are paying attention to today, the biggest one was Kamala Harris has now come up with her tax plan for at least capital gains. Okay. So your investments, be that stocks, 401k plan, your house, anything. Okay. It's just what she released this afternoon. She is suggesting her platform is to increase the capital gains tax long term, which is currently at 20%, okay, which is still highway robbery. As I said to so many people today, and I've said many times before, how is it that a grocery store's profit margin of being 2% is price gouging, but the government taking 30% of our paycheck isn't? Somebody explain that one to me. Okay. Kamala Harris wants to raise the long-term capital gains rate to 44.9%. Now, I want to give you this just as an example, just so you understand how this goes. Long-term capital gains is anything over 1 year, right? So you buy a stock, you own your house, whatever would be. So let's say you buy $100 worth of stock, pick anything, okay? And it goes to $200. You doubled your money. You made $100. Congratulations, you get to give Kamala Harris $44.90 of that $100 profit. Means you keep $54.10 or $55.10. If that stock went from 100 to 0, you get to write it off your income. You can write off $3,000 a year in capital losses, but you have to pay all your capital gains. These are realized capital gains in the year in which you make it. So let's take that instead of $100. Let's say you put in, I don't know, $100,000. Let's say it's your IRA, your retirement savings, whatever. $100,000 these days, you guys know, maybe buys you a new car. Okay. And it went to $200,000. Great. You get to pay taxes to the tune of $44,900 this year on that capital gain. But if that $100,000 goes to 0, you get to write off $3,000 for the next 33 years each year. Okay. So that's bad enough, going from 20% to 44.9. That's her first idea of taxes. That will kill the stock market, which will kill the economy. But the scariest, ultimate communist one is that her proposal is to tax unrealized capital gains by 25%. Now, I want you to think about this. Let's say in the same scenario, you buy $100 worth of stock, it goes to $200, and you figure, hey, it's a good company, I'm going to keep holding it. You got to pay them $25 out of some other money that you have, your income or whatever, because, we all have so much excess income right now because of her policies for the last 3.5 years. We're all rolling in money, right? Okay. So you'd have to pay that. But I want to give you this. This is unrealized capital gains. What's the value that's happened to your house in the last 3 years? Being here in Tennessee, mine's more than doubled. We bought our house for $218,000. According to Zillow, it's worth like $435 now. So that means I have $217,000 in unrealized capital gains because I haven't sold my house. Under her tax proposal, I'd have to give the government a check for somewhere around $55,000 because the value of my house has gone up. Haven't sold it, don't plan on selling it. Now, what we don't know is if that's every year or if, it's what it's appreciated this year. Because here's the catch. If the value of my house goes down next year, I don't get a tax write-off. I don't get that money back. I could maybe, if I'm lucky, take $3,000 off of my income and not pay taxes. But I've already written the government a check for $55,000. I don't know about most people, but I don't have $55,000 just laying around going, hey, you know what? If the government wants it, fine, here's, a 5-figure check for something that I've got no money out of. So what happens when people can't pay the aforementioned $55,000? We're going to slap a tax lien on your house. And unless you pay it, we're taking your house. Hey, Juan and Maria, we've got a new vacant property you can move into. Do you see this coming? This is her agenda. This is her platform that she's running on. We're going to have government-controlled grocery store prices. And we're going to have $25,000 given to first-time home buyers. Okay? Kids, okay, who their chance of owning a house is next to nothing. And Juan and Maria. So, hey, Juan and Maria, we just stole this property from Pinball and Mrs. P. We'll sell it to you for $400 and whatever $1,000 to make it relatively market value. We'll give you $25,000 for your down payment, which wouldn't be enough. And now you can pay us for the privilege of living in a house. Do you see how communism works? Now I want to give you this, okay? The Rothschilds, we all know them, right? Last week, the family came out and said, if Donald Trump wins, globalism is dead. You guys know what's going on in Europe, okay? You know Great Britain has become a Muslim country, okay? They've been taken over. I mean, they're letting 5,000 convicted criminals out of prison so they can open up space to put people in jail for 2 to 3 years, is what the sentences have been down, for mean tweets. Okay. So the guy that stabbed somebody on the tube, the guy that broke into a house, the guy that raped a daughter, he gets let go. But the guy that said F the police at some sort of rally, some sort of protest march, he's going to jail. I think it was Argentina. Was it Argentina or Brazil? I can't remember. One of the two. Twitter pulled out, said the country had said either you're going to start censoring the posts on Twitter or we're going to arrest your staff. Elon Musk pulled Twitter, said, okay, fine, we're out of here, gone. Pulled all the people out, closed down the thing, we don't care, no big deal. France came out and said the same thing today. Either you start censoring what people write or we're going to arrest all your people and shut you down. Musk is like, I don't care. We'll just shut down on our own. Screw you. Okay. This is all straight out of Orwell's 1984. In case you didn't see today, Joe Biden has put the U.S. military on alert, warning people that nuclear war, I'm not kidding you here, nuclear war between North Korea, China, and Russia aligned together against the United States is currently on the table. Put the military on alert. What was the other one? There was something else that happened today, too. And I'm going to get into the World Economic Forum saying this, too. Oh, yes. We also know all these stories that have been coming out, and I can't confirm these because this is dark web stuff, but I've heard this now from 3 different sources that we are to expect a 2 to 3 week minimum grid down event in the United States between the end of August, which we're getting to here, and Election Day. Because the global communists, we don't even have to call them globalists anymore, it's global communism, that's the goal, okay, know that the only thing that stands between global communism and any shred of freedom is the United States. Europe's fallen. Most of Asia's already communist anyway, save basically South Korea and Japan, and they're tipping both their sides anyway. South America's gone. Africa's useless. Australia has gone communist. Canada's gone communist. Mexico's gone communist. Gee, who's left, guys? We're it. This is all, okay? And the rest of the world is going to come after us. And half of us believe in communism. If you ever think you're a tiny cog in the world, get this as an idea. We got 335 million people in this country, 350 million. That means there's 175 million people that are going to make the decision for 8 billion worldwide, whether or not we're a worldwide communist planet or there's any sort of shred of freedom. Those are the stakes, guys. Even the World Economic Forum is on board, the world's largest terrorist organization, okay? The World Economic Forum is in on this, saying something's going to happen between now and the election. And I'm going to talk about that in the morning, but I'll get into those details. If you haven't started prepping yet, or you're thinking, well, you know what, just in case the power goes out or there's a hurricane, we got a lot bigger problems than weather. And y'all know me, I'm not a fearmongerer. I'm not one to sell you something and say you must buy this or you're gonna die. But I will tell you this, deep down in my gut, this is it. Because come New Year's Eve, we're either knowing whether we're going to be happy days are here again, or whether we're figuring out where the nearest bread line is, because that's how we're going to get our food, and going, okay, they're going to try to take my house. I'm sorry if you think that's hyperbola or if it's fear mongering or whatever. Those are the facts, guys. That's exactly what is going on in the world today. Yeah. And around here, pears, picking muscadines, those are starting to come in. And some of the wine's finally done. All right, there is the not so happy monologue for tonight. All right, let's get into some Q&A. Figure you guys are going to have a bunch of questions, especially what's gone on in the last 24, 26 hours. Yeah, it's considering we have a terrorist attack that was planned for 15 minutes ago on the DNC. That might come up too. So we'll see what goes on. All right, so if you got questions for me, all caps in the comments, please. Just like every other channel, makes it a lot easier for me to find the questions. The only requirement, as per always, is keep it polite. You know, disagreement is fine. You don't have to agree with me. I really don't care. Okay, if you disagree with me, that's your opinion. Okay, it's fine. You're not going to change mine. Just do it politely if you want to disagree. I'm totally cool with you saying what you want to say until it gets rude toward me or toward anybody else in here. And then you never come back. Okay, that's it. And all those people say, you can't do that. That censorship is, it's my freaking channel. I'll do whatever the hell I damn well please. You want to say the exact opposite of what I do? Go do it on your channel. Okay? Those are my rules. All right. Let's get up to the top and see what's on y'all's mind. Wow, there's a lot of stuff going in here. All right. Scott McHugh, amazing how the DNC crap went over the time on all channels. Just tells me the media's bought and paid for. Trump will not forget it. Yeah, I mean, and you knew, like I said somewhere, I said, Kamala Harris wants to be president of the United States. She can't even coordinate a party for herself. Okay. What they canceled, I forget who the music star was. I was not James Brown, but somebody yesterday canceled that. Biden didn't come out to. This is the current president of the United States, and his speaking slot was after 11:30 at night. Nobody stayed up to watch it. Now, could that have been planned? Oh, very possibly. Okay, but yeah, if you and your team can't coordinate a party, how the hell do we think that you're going to coordinate any sort of negotiations with Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping or Kim Jong-un or the Ayatollahs or Bolsonaro or any of these countries that hate us? You can't figure out how to get one person off the stage and the next person on to talk. You have 5 minutes, dude. We're shutting off your microphone at 5 minutes. Oh, that's a novel idea? Hell, your lackeys over at CBS or CNN who did the first debate, they were able to do that. You think you'd be able to figure it out too, right? Okay. Sharon McKee, Democrats are saying Trump killed the border bill when he was in office. Do you know why the border bill was killed? Well, this is a good question. Trump killed the border bill that Joe Biden presented. Remind me again what political office Donald Trump has held from January 20th of 2021 to today. Please. How did Trump kill anything? He's not in office. Biden's border bill came during Biden's presidency when Trump held no political authority whatsoever in the country. It's another lie out of the DNC. No different than Joe saying that he was the one that dropped insulin prices to $35, or the very fine people crap, or the inject bleach, or anything like that. None of it is true. And so is this. They try to scapegoat from their failures. Why did the border bill fail in Joe's thing? Why wouldn't Congress vote for it? Because it included a shitload of money for Ukraine and a pittance for our border. That's why the bill failed, because we didn't want to spend a bunch of money protecting the Ukrainian border and ignore our border patrol here. That's why the Republicans didn't pass it in the House. Rock, how do I keep from feeling depressed with knowing the country might turn communistic if Kamala wins? Because I'm fine with dying on this hill. Okay. I will not be taken alive. You think that's me bullshitting you? No, it's not. I'm to the point where I've lived a very good life, ups and downs like everybody else's. They are not taking this away from me. If they do, I'm taking a couple of them with me. That's it. Okay. The day somebody shows up, I don't care if they've got robin's egg blue helmets on, or they come up in black SUVs, and they come in and think they are going to do anything on these 3 acres, they better come prepared. That's it. Okay. They try to take my town. There's plenty of people here who think just like I do. They try to take my county. They try to take my state. There's plenty of people who think just like I do. I mean, mentally, you have to be prepared, just like physically and spiritually. I don't want to have to do it, but I have got myself mentally prepared that if this country tips toward, if somehow the cackling hen cheats her way into office, there will be a shooting war, and I'm ready for it. I mean, that's it. I'm a realist. We're not going that way. And there's going to be a lot of people who say, you know what? I'd rather be dead than red. Did I feel sorry for Joe last night? No. I mean, Joe is a despicable, old, demented piece of shit who's never done anything for the country. I mean, come on, 3 years too late, but Congress just comes up and, we just discovered that Joe's taken $27 million, blah, 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 blah. We all told you that 3 years ago and you didn't do anything about it. Okay. No, I don't. If Joe got hit by a bus, I'd be the one standing on the side going, congratulations, bus driver. Okay. I mean, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, I mean, and I go on and on and on, are scum of the earth. And every one of them has a first-class reservation in hell. Okay. I mean, I can't put into words how much I despise these people. Rob Hoyle, wonder how the genius will deal with precious metals. Yeah, that's going to be a real interesting one, because in most states, including Tennessee, they're not taxable. You don't have to pay capital gains on it, anything like that. And so there's no reporting requirements for it because it's money. Okay. It's not a investment. It's a different form of currency. So, yeah, but she'll come up with something, and then it's going to be, well, Supreme Court, you want to do this one because she's trying to overwrite state law, and she doesn't have this authority, and but she's like, Joe wrote a record amount of executive orders. Let me see if I can write more. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if one of her first things she did is change the United States flag to put a hammer and sickle on it. Aloha Jay, evening pinball. I just bought a satellite communicator. Besides friends and family contacts, who should I add to the contact list? I'm going to say this to you first off. I think you just completely wasted your money because the first thing that's going to be taken out in any sort of SHTF event, some sort of attack on the United States, is going to be the satellites. So, my opinion, a sat phone is pretty much the biggest waste of money that a prepper could make. You've got to pay what, $40 a month for the subscription now? And I mean, the rates to use a sat phone are crazy expensive, and it's going to be the first thing taken out in, before the internet's gone, before the cell phone towers are taken out, the satellites are going to be taken out. So, I don't know, maybe add the refund desk for your sat phone. That would be who I'd put on the contact list. TK, do I feel the seasons shifted? It feels like fall already. My cukes and tomatoes look like they're in September. It's funny, Mrs. P and I were talking about this today. We have either, global warming, and you see these stories. We're going to 40 straight months of above average highs. And I'm going, it must have been really cold in Tennessee for the last 3 years when I didn't notice, because we've had like one day above 90 degrees where I am this summer. One. Okay. It was 74 here today. This is the middle of August. I don't live in the deep south, but I live in the south. 74 degrees. It's been low 80s, mid 80s for weeks. No. And now you're saying it feels like fall already? Sure, we could get another heat spell or whatever it is. I get it. All I can say is the climate change idiots, all they have to do is look at the weather forecast and go, damn, we're wrong again. Linda Bob, it'll go to what they said. You'll own nothing and be happy. The only thing that I will own nothing of is ammunition at the end, because I will use every piece of it before they take me. Okay. No, they can't have my house. I don't give a shit what like I said, I will die on this hill. If they want to take it that far, they want to come here, go ahead. But my advice to them is don't make dinner reservations. There's a good chance you ain't going to make it there that night. Glenn Watt, Harris will tax us to death. That's her plan. Okay. Remember, we've talked about feudalism for years. This is their entire plan. Take from everybody. They want to live in their ivory towers, their castles, and we're just the peons, the plebes, the peasants that are out there. No. How many times have you guys said the only thing that stands between worldwide tyranny and freedom is the Second Amendment? The rest of the world, the countries of the world, have given up their rights to guns. Look how well that's worked in the last couple of years for Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Great Britain. You gave up your guns? Cool. Now you can't stop us. We'll do whatever the F we please. No, that happens around here, and you are going to be picking up authorities' bodies out of the street. You want to really have some fun? Go piss off a bunch of rednecks, because they ain't giving up their land. They ain't giving up. There's people in this town that I live in that the property they live on has been in their family for 200 years. You ain't moving them. Ever. Not happening. So, again, I'm surrounded by like-minded people. My Michael Eversberg, what's the story about Taylor Swift today? I could give a rat's ass about that useless piece of shit. I mean, anybody that listens to her music or follows her as a Swiftie is a complete freaking moron. Okay, the woman has no talent. She's ugly as piss. Okay, she looks like a teenage boy, and she's what, 38 or something. You know, when your career is to entertain 12-year-olds, okay, I don't have a whole lot of respect for you. And when you have no talent to boot, I don't care what you think. I don't care what anybody in Hollywood thinks. I don't care what anybody in the music industry thinks. Okay. Even my favorite bands, I don't care what their political thoughts are. Taylor Swift is not somebody I'm going, gee, you know what? She's a brilliant political scientist, a brilliant economist. No, she's a slut that gets around and makes billions of dollars for it. Congratulations, you are the epitome of an OnlyFans person. Diane Dusendang. Watch Potato in the DNC, sickening and scared for our future prepping, but if we don't win, where do we turn? I don't think it matters if we win or not. I truly believe this. If the Democrats win, they are going to force hell on earth on us. And if the Democrats lose, they are going to cause hell on earth. We have 80 some odd days, guys, until life as we know it is pretty much going to be turned upside down. We have a time frame. You better have everything you plan on having by November 5th, because come November 6th, the stores are going to be on fire and the government is going to be 100% your enemy. One of those two is going to happen. Vicky Savage, historically, when tax rates exceed citizen survival rates, there is violent revolution. Gee, wonder if that's what's coming. Yes. North Alabama hiking. Pinball, the problem with Kamala's tax plan is that most of her fan base is idiot woke college kids who only care about abortions, LGBT, and are going to understand the bad effects of her tax plan. The thing is this. You say idiot college kids. It's the idiots that shouldn't even be in college, okay? Because the ones that are getting hurt the most by the Biden-Harris administration are the Zoomers and the millennials. They are the ones that are getting destroyed by their economic policies. Any college kid, any Zoomer, any millennial that actually is voting for this bitch needs to have their head examined, because the reason at 30 years old they're still living in mom's basement because they can't afford a house, let alone an apartment, is because of the stupidity that has come out of the least qualified administration in history. And they go, we want more of this. Gee, I can't afford an apartment. I can't afford a car. I've got student loans up my ass. I can't afford food, but let's vote for the same people who caused every one of those things. If you're that stupid, I've got no sympathy for you. Star Stylist Homestead. Pinball, do I think the Opus Mega 5 is the best on the market today? No, I do not. I'm looking to grab one ASAP, and I didn't want to bother you on email again. We need another one now. It is a good generator. I do not think it is the best on the market right now. I think I have told you guys, if I had to do it all over again, I would have gone with the Anchor system that I showed you a while ago. Opus is good. I would still say, it's a 7 or an 8 on a 1 to 10 scale. I'd say the EcoFlows are an 8 to 9. EcoFlow's got a great product, but they've got pathetic customer service. Anchor, I would say, is probably best on the market right now. So, cost, now you get into cost for the price. yeah, for the price you're paying, Opus is going to be the best. Nobody else can compare with them on price. There's no question there. Okay. But as for everything that you're getting, they're top five, no problem. But number one, no. Robert Bates, the Pinball Mountaintop Okra Fest, starting September 2024. No. I'll eat the dirt you grow it in before I'll eat the okra. It tastes better. Vicky Savage, malicious compliance is a very effective tactic. Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of things I don't show you. I will just leave it at that. Susan Musser, Pinball had a prepare to evacuate order due to wildfire. We had the car loaded in 20 minutes. Everything except the animals. Practice your plan because you never know. Now you need to get that down to about 2. Okay. Now, depending on what you're trying to load. You know, if you were trying to get school books and all this sort of stuff, but if you've got, in a lot of situations, you ain't getting 20 minutes. And I talked about this 4 or 5 months ago. You need to get that down where you can get everybody out of the house and everything you need is in the vehicle, however you get another in 2 minutes. That's it. You pick up this bag, you pick up that bag, you grab your keys, you're out the door. You call the dog hops in the car, and you're out. Because the Chinese, the North Koreans, Antifa aren't calling you up and saying, "Hi, Susan, we'll be there in 20 minutes. All of a sudden, they're going to show up out of the wood line. You know, that's it. Flamethrowers. You got 2 minutes to get out of your house. Glenwad, they are trying to push lockdowns again. Yes, did you notice all the people at the DNC wearing masks? You know, it's funny because you really think they wanted to strap the mask over their butt because that's how monkeypox spreads. It ain't breathing it. So, I don't know, maybe a N95 diaper. Is that what's coming next? Let's see. AI, did I see the Joe and Kamala Bureau of Labor Statistics lied about the employment numbers? Yeah, I saw this. By over 1 million, there have been 0 job gains under this administration. I've been talking about this for months, okay? Since back to February, when the first numbers came out and said there were 79,000 less Americans working now in February than there were before COVID. Now that number is up to somewhere around 300,000 less Americans working. Sure, there's 14 million more people working. All of them are either green card holders, visa holders, or illegals. American citizens are how is it phrased? We have a lower employment rate of American citizens now than we did before Joe took office. Less Americans are working. Okay. Yes, and right. Because, and how many times have we done videos on this? They revised the numbers down. They revised the numbers down. They revised the numbers down. This time it was 1 million freaking people. How do you overestimate something that comes in at like 2 or 3 million? How do you overestimate it by 50%? I mean, these are the competent people in the Biden administration. You wonder why people say we need to get rid of 80% of the federal government because they're useless. I mean, hell, Elon Musk got rid of 90% of the employees at Twitter. Nobody knows the difference. The company's running fine. We could do the same damn thing with our government. The biggest employer in the country is the U.S. government. And still, try getting somebody on the phone from Social Security or from the IRS or get an appointment at the VA. You can't because they're all sitting back eating donuts, cashing paychecks, but not doing any work. Leslie Enoch, I really think they're going to try and take the grid down right before the election or the night of. I think it's going to be earlier than that, within a couple. I think the October surprise will be a grid down. Just for the simple reason that it'll be, holy crap, we're going to lose. We can't, even our fake polls aren't good enough to tell everybody that we can rig this. It's going to be too big to rig. I posed an interesting question to people about a week ago. I think it's North Carolina. Early voting starts September 6th. It's the earliest one. And I have a question, because you know me, I'm a firm believer in election day should be a national holiday. Every business should be closed. Okay. Hospitals, police department, fire department, that's it, that's open. Okay. Mandatory that you have to close your business down that day on election day. And we should only vote on election day. The only people that should be allowed to vote by mail, only people, are the military. Sorry, you have a business trip, cancel it or don't vote. That's it. Okay. The rest of them have choices. Private sector has choices. The people that are assigned somewhere in the military, they don't have a choice. Okay. Only people that can vote by mail or vote absentee are the military. Other than that, get your ass to the polls. Okay. But here's my question. If you vote between September 6th and November 5th and die after you vote, but before November 5th, do they throw out your ballot? No. There's the problem, or there's one of the problems. Voting should be done on one day. That is it. You show up to the polls on November 5th, otherwise you don't vote. Sorry, don't care. Don't care what excuse you have. You show up. I voted for years while I still had a job. I mean, back, 2012, when I was in Massachusetts. I was the very first person in line at the polling booth that opened up at 6 o'clock, and I was there at 5:30. And why was I there at 6 o'clock? Because I had to be at work at 8, and it usually took me a little over an hour in traffic to get to work. I made sure I had plenty of time, and I got there and voted. I'm sorry if you're one of those people that thinks you need to do 70 miles an hour in a 50 zone because you're late for work every morning. Get your fat ass out of bed 5 minutes early. Tell more. What are my thoughts on RFK joining forces with Trump? Okay, so I saw the interview with his running mate today, where they're in talks to cancel their campaign to align, to back the Trump campaign. I guess there's talk that they're in negotiation. Some people are saying RFK is trying to get a position in Trump's cabinet or whatever. The rumors are that he could be the attorney general or something like that. No. Okay. You want to give him a position, fine. Make him the ambassador to the Bahamas or something like that, some useless position. I really don't care. Ultimately, RFK is a Democrat. I don't care if he's not Kamala Harris, not Joe Biden, not Barack Obama. He does not have the same vision that MAGA does. Okay. You want to run. I don't care. You're going to lose. Okay. Would it help Trump if he endorsed him? Maybe, maybe not. Just because somebody says, oh, I'm going to vote for RFK, and RFK comes up and says, oh, gee, I'm dropping out and I want everybody to vote for Trump. Sorry, RFK, you aren't that kind of figure where somebody's going to go, okay, I'm listening to you. So I really don't care. I think it's headline fodder, but I don't think RFK is a difference maker in this election at all. Off-grid living. We heard last night they have a mobile abortion clinic at the DNC convention. Yes, they do, and it was booked. You can get an abortion or you can get a vasectomy right there in the van outside the DNC, because when I want to have surgical operations on my body, my idea always is, some guy in a food truck sitting out front to do it for me. Nobody, you got to remember, nobody has ever accused liberals of being intelligent. J.S. Thomas, how does that tax work on unrealized capital gains if you're still paying a monthly mortgage? Doesn't matter. If the house was worth 200, it's now worth 400. Guess what? You got taxes on $200,000. You owe $50,000 to the IRS. They don't care you're still paying a mortgage. Does your local county give a shit about raising your taxes, your property taxes, just because you're still paying a mortgage? Nope. If you're paying the mortgage and you do your taxes in escrow, they send the bill off to escrow or off to the mortgage company, and all of a sudden you get the new, hey, they raised your taxes, your mortgage went up from $1,500 to $1,700. Just happens that way, but that's paid off in portions. IRS doesn't let you make, well, they do let you make payments at 18% interest or whatever. So, yeah, doesn't matter. They'll still put a tax lien on you. They don't care. Their idea is to take your house. Healthy disrespect. Do I think they'll try to do the gold confiscation thing again? Good luck if they do. Okay. First off, you got to remember the population between now and when they did the gold confiscation, was it 1935? The population of the country is more than tripled. Okay. The percentage of Americans that own precious metals is astronomically higher than it was 100 years ago. And there's precedent now, so the people are prepared for it. You go back and people are like, they tried to make it sound like, oh, it was going to be a good deal back then. And some people bought it. A lot of people said no, and they shipped their gold off to Switzerland. Now, people are just, sorry, I sold that a long time ago. I mean, because we don't have to keep records on cost basis because it's not taxable. Gee, we've got records that you bought 5 ounces of gold in, 2022. And I sold it. I gave it away as birthday presents and Christmas presents and what. Don't have to keep records of it. Don't have it anymore. Who knows? Buried 2 miles away in a piece of PVC pipe under a rock somewhere, but they don't know that, and anybody that tells them is an idiot. Gizmo 9067, do I recommend vote early? Because you have the opportunity. I mean, I'm not a supporter of it at all. I think I just kind of explained why. But depending on your situation, okay? If you got to go to work on election day, yeah, and you have the ability to vote early, sure, do it so you don't have to go. I always worry about voting early personally because every year we see stories of the mailman who threw out bags of mail down by the river, okay, that had ballots in them. Votes, they just don't show up. It's like, oh, we got this ballot. Well, I only got 2 of them today. Screw it. We're just going to throw it in the trash. That way we don't have to deal with it. That's the thing. Mikhail 539. Given current eco-political conditions, do I advise planting fall garden with foods highest in nutritional value instead of the trendy, finicky crops? Boost nutrition. Okay, first off, I'm not into ever planting the trendy, finicky crops. Okay. What I'm trying to plant is caloric intake and vitamins intake, and then again, the amount I can get from it. I think I've told you guys this before, you want vitamin C, there's more vitamin C in a green pepper than there is in an orange. People don't believe that, but it's true. Okay? you're going to need the calories. So you're going to need the potatoes, the sweet potatoes, the corns, the things like that. Sure. Do I plant tomatoes? Yeah, because it's very versatile for calories. Onions, you're going to need that for flavor, garlic for flavor, things like that. And those store well. But, you know, I, and I know some people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. But, you know, you see the people that are planting the Brussels sprouts or the what's the stuff called? I mean, kale and Swiss chard. Okay. No, you don't need to be planting greenery like that for an SHTF event. There's little to no nutritional value at all in lettuce or something that you're going to get. Plant the stuff that is going to get you the calories and get you the vitamins that you're going to require. You know, that, I mean, do I have my son? Mrs. P was up. She's like, oh, our beets have germinated. Yeah, I got cabbage going in. I got beets going in. Okay. Why? Because I can store that stuff long term, and there is good medicinal value, if you will, in pickled cabbage, and there is good vitamins in beets. Gigi's Garden. Regarding capital gains tax, wouldn't going back to purchase value of the home be an ex post facto law? Yes, it would. And Congress would have to approve the tax, right? Yes, of course, Congress has to. I mean, we can't get taxes by executive order. Remember that, okay? And this is why I keep saying it's crucially important that we elect Trump, but it's also crucially important that Trump has a Republican Congress, both Senate and House, to work with, because all the good ideas he has, somebody else, the legislative branch has to write those laws. You know, the executive branch does not write laws. Let me shut to the bottom. Okay. State 1085. What's sad is not that Kamala has the highway robbery program. It's that America has been so dumbed down to fall for it. This is what I said, guys. And you've heard me say this too. This isn't something that just started recently. This isn't something that started with Barack Obama. This started back in 1992 with Bill Clinton. This has been going on. This has all been planned for 30 years. Destroy the education system, destroy the economic system, make people too stupid to ever vote them. I mean, this takes what LBJ said about I'll have those N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. Bill Clinton's like, I'll have those idiots voting liberal for the next 2,000 years, because we'll just keep promising them free stuff and never deliver, and they're too dumb, never realize that you can't borrow your way out of debt. You cannot, independence, go back to 1776. We don't have the Declaration of Dependence, and from this day forward, the government will take care of everything. No, we don't. Kevin Little sent the tomato wine recipe to you. Yes, I got it. I read over it. I was like raisins and grapes and everything like that. I'm like, okay, it's a wine recipe with tomatoes in it. But I might make a bottle of it. We'll see. I'll have to tweak it a little bit like you did. Could use muscadines instead of grapes or something like that, just because that's what's coming in. Wallace Sullivan. Well, you don't tell everyone you're going to rob them blind and take everything from them when you're trying to win their vote, unless you know you've already won. Right. And again, we have half of the public of the United States who's too stupid to realize that Kamala is telling them, we're going to bend you over and split you wide open, and you're going to enjoy it. And they're like, yeah, can I have some more? Idiots. Josh, thank you for the super chat. says they're trying to roll in some COVID regulations because of the increase in the numbers. They're trying to hope that we're obedient. Of course they are. We talked about this too. They're going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at us. We will inevitably see social distancing and plexiglass and mask requirements. And God forbid they start saying you got to have the arm ticket again. They're going to throw all that at us. They're going to throw war at us. They're going to throw threats at us, power outage. It's, to utter chaos is what they are going to confuse the people. Because if they can make it all sorts of crazy, just vote us back in. We'll get this all under control. The last thing you want to do with all this chaos going right now is change governments. That's what's coming. Vicky Savage, in my opinion, the fastest and most effective way to crash the system is to quit supporting it. And every channel has said this, you want to stop something bad, stop buying stuff there. Look what we did to Bud Light. Look what we did to Harley Davidson just this week, or Tractor Supply. Harley Davidson said, you know what? We're done with the woke crap. No more DEI for us, because they got embarrassed beyond belief at Sturgis. Okay. The bikers wouldn't go to the Harley Davidson tent. Bud Light still, Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light still hasn't recovered from the Dylan Mulvaney disaster. And I don't think they ever will. Okay. Bud Light will probably cease to exist because nobody will buy it. And, we're very effective when that happens, but it hasn't got bad again. And I know there's all sorts of people that say we should just stop paying income tax. Let Kamala's crap go through here, and that will happen. Okay. People have to be pissed off enough to say, I don't care what happens. People pay their income tax now because of the threat of going to jail, right? Well, when the threat of losing your house, losing your kids, losing your family, losing everything you work for, jail doesn't seem so bad anymore. I'll fight for what I got. Orange 2 Street. I got to watch Trump come into Howell, Michigan today to speak to our sheriff department. What a great feeling. The unity was incredible. Did you see the video? Okay, and if you haven't, go find it. It's all over the place. So you had and he was in Howell, Michigan. Okay. And you had some idiot journalist come up and question Trump in front of a bunch of cops, okay, saying, well, what do you think about coming up here where this is a hotbed or something like that for white supremacy? And Trump kind of walked up to the microphone. He goes, do you know who was here in 2021? And the reporter goes, Joe Biden. And he just laughed and goes, thank you, and walked away. I mean, he owned that reporter real quick. Josh, thank you for the super chat. I don't think COVID regs are going to go over well at all either. I agree with you. But yeah, I mean, that was, I don't know who this reporter was working for, maybe the local high school newspaper. If she, that's about how credentialed she was, how intelligent she was. But she asked the question and he had to, who was here in 2021? Joe Biden. Ha ha ha. Thank you. Really. So because there's, I don't know, if it was those staged Gretchen Whitmer people or whatever it was, the kidnapping deal, if it's that group, they were in Howell, I don't know. Okay. But when he knows more about that area than you do, and you're the reporter, it's time to find it. Go back to 7-Eleven and get your job back there, because maybe you're qualified for that one. We talked about the RFK thing. Okay, That's there. Yeah, some of the stuff that you guys are asking about, I'm just skipping over some worldwide EMP or something with small planes. No. Jennifer Perry, yeah, I'll finish with this one. Did y'all pick a name for the team? No. So if you guys didn't see, last night was the meeting for our bowling league, so bowling starts again. So the channel is going to sponsor my bowling team. Okay. I'm the one that gets to make the decision how things work for the channel, so that works fine. So we're going to get bowling shirts, but I put it out there to you guys yesterday on a community board to come up with a team name for us. And so I'm going to pick maybe the 10 best ones or whatever that I like. And then I'll take it to the team and we'll all vote on what the team name is or whatever. And then whoever's the first person that came up with the name in the comment, because I know some people have said the same thing. A few of you guys said Holy Rollers, and that was our team name last year. We're changing the team name this year, that's all. And but whoever's the first person, I'll come up with some sort of prize for them, something like that. So that was it. So if you're interested in naming our bowling team, go check out the community board. All right, guys, have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow. And bowl out.